So we've got one last thing to do before this presentation, and it comes actually with two special themes, one unexpected. So I'd like to call my board chair, who started this conference up Monday morning, Aaron Thompson from Kentucky. So Aaron's going to help me in awarding our last award of the conference, and that is the Gear Up Student of the Year Award. The bio is in the book. And before I do that, this one award, it comes with the same hardware trophy that everybody's getting. But it also comes with a scholarship, partial scholarship, that emanates from contributions from our board of directors to help the Gear Up Student of the Year in their quest for college. And I want to say one thing about the contribution this year that's a little different. So when you pick a theme like Together We Rise, you pick it thinking about what it represents, the people it represents, but it's modeled every day. And so this is what happened. About 3 weeks ago or a month ago, Aaron had a loss in his family. His brother passed away unexpectedly at the age of 63. So I got a call in the office. And Aaron, he said it on Monday morning, he's kind of like a brother from another mother. My mother was much better looking. I forgot for a second he's my boss. I got a call from one of Aaron's colleagues at the Kentucky Commission on Post-Secondary Education and said, hey, Aaron's struggling with this loss. And so we wanted to do something. We didn't know what to do. And so we all chipped in, and we're sending you a check. Aaron is so committed to NCCEP and Gear Up, not only in Kentucky, but nationally. We want to contribute to this scholarship. And, I was so moved by it. We had this theme, and then all of a sudden, a team from Kentucky modeled it. Like, Together We Rise by supporting each other as a family. And it was just so powerful to me. So, as we introduce this next participant, this next awardee, the board decided that this year's scholarship is going to be named for Perry Glenn Thompson. So let me introduce this next individual. And I haven't read a bio all week. And it is because I don't want to put my readers on in front of you. To this student, if you read the bio, I'm just going to say two things, because he's going to speak. And he came up to me yesterday and he said, Mr. Sadhu, I felt like I was teaching again. Mr. Sadhu, I know we have a minute, what if I go like a minute and a half? I said, Brooks, I think that'll be okay. So we talked a lot about data and research over these last couple of days. And, research is great. Data is great for telling your story. The one thing about research and data sometimes is that it points to what can't be done in education. If you read educational research, it'll tell you if a kid gets too far behind early, by third grade, it's close to impossible to catch them up. And so when we get nominations for the Gear Up Youth of the Year, there's a lot of criteria. It could be how much they give back in their community, their level of resiliency. This one emanates resiliency. Our awardee grew up homeless for a huge chunk of his life, including most of elementary school. And because of it, he wasn't enrolled in school for 4 years of elementary school. So if the research tells you by third grade, if you're behind, that you rarely catch up, what happens when you miss 4 years of elementary school? The research can lead you to believe to give up on that pool of data, on those individual kids. Our next awardee from Gear Up, Wyoming, and just like all of you, Gear Up Wyoming doesn't give up on the data. Our next awardee, we call him Brooks, is about to take a bus from Wyoming to Purdue University in about 3 weeks. On a Daniels Fund scholarship to study computer science. And he's an amazing young guy. And so yesterday I sat down with him, thinking he's all nervous, look at this crowd, and I'm prepping him. And I'm like, hey, you have any questions? And he said, yeah, hey, Mr. Sudhu, I have this idea. I'd like to pull all the youth together nationally and somehow put out some really intractable problems and get the youth to figure out how to solve them. So there I am trying to prep him for this. So I said, Brooks, I think I can help you with that. So without further ado, William Brooks Van Buren.
I know that this crowd likes to cheer a lot, specifically the other students. I think I might have some permanent ear damage, but anyways, I'm just gonna ask that you let me finish before you do anything too crazy. First, I just have to say that it's such an extreme honor to stand up here. I have to confess that going through life, I didn't really think much about what I was doing. Whether I was homeless or I was going hungry or whether I was moving to a new school when I was in school, I just dealt with it. I did what I needed to keep going. And as I grew older, specifically these last few years, I started doing things with more intent. If no one ever noticed, I would have been fine. I would still be fine. But the fact that I'm recognized by this amazing organization, alongside all these other fantastic students, is surreal. Yesterday, I was talking to Ranjit, and he asked me a question. Because of all the school I missed and the other hardships I faced, he wanted to know what I believe allowed me to overcome all that and still succeed. And my first thought was, that's a pretty good question. And I told him I'd have to think about it. And then later that night, I was getting on the elevator and it just hit me. And, curiosity is something that kept motivating me to learn. And also, no matter how much I don't want to admit it. I learned from my mom, if my mom decided she really wanted something, she used what she knew and who she knew and the systems already in place to get there. And I saw that happen, and I picked it up. And I think that's a really good example of how, from negative situations and negative people, there's always positive things to take from that. Hold on. Okay. So don't forget where you came from, because from that place is where you learn things that make you unique. And I can't accept this award without acknowledging a couple people, although there's a long list of people, a couple people that have really helped me. And there's a long list of teachers that have impacted me, but none of them more so than Amber Parsons. And she was my English teacher these last 2 years. She has been the greatest friend to me and provided wholehearted support when I needed it most. Without that, I'm not sure I would have made it through these last few years. And of course, there's my Gear Up academic coach, Kristen Young. Without Gear Up, I would have been very lost in the college process. I mean, I started not really knowing what I wanted to do, what exactly I needed to do. But Kristen has worked so patiently with me, helping realize my potential and what I wanted to do with my life. Now, to close this, on many scales, there are issues that we'd like to resolve, but I know that sometimes you just have to deal with it. And you keep going. But while you're going, you better be working your butt off to change what you can. And students, please utilize the tools and help the Gear Up offers, because without them, I'm not sure where I'd be or where I'd be going. Gear Up works. Thank you.